Hello.
Hey.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Harley.
Harley. Do you have a business card?
I do.
Can you get one?
Yeah.
Is that yours?
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the phone, so.
You already knew I wanted one, huh?
Well, I figured you would.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was just wondering what services do you guys offer here at EEOC?
So hold on before you start going into, I don't know who you are or who you're with.
Oh, I'm the press.
Remember the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to do an interview? You could, on that card, I wrote down the acting director's name.
Okay.
He's also the attorney that represents,
So you don't want to have a
AEOC.
little conversation with us and tell our viewers what you guys do here and kind of promote your guys' work a little bit?
I guess, you just kind of caught me off guard, so I
That's
don't
fine.
really
Okay.
know what's
So
happening.
So it's a surprise visit.
Okay.
This is why we do this, because we want a raw, unique reaction. We don't want to be staged. Hey, you guys, we're coming in on Thursday at 5 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Get all
Yeah.
prettied up, get all, get a script going. So we just come in, test you guys, see how you guys are doing.
Okay. Do you
What-
have a card too?
I don't.
I do, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you one when I leave the building.
Well,
But
I'd
I
like.
still have a lot of offices to go to.
Okay, but I need to know who I'm speaking to also. So.
Well,
Okay.
You
Well, we're
work-
members of the public.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if you're with a production company or
We're
media
fine.
company.
Yeah, we're independent.
We're independent.
Okay. So can I get your information?
No.
When I'm ready to leave, I'll give that to you.
When you're ready to leave?
Yeah, we still
Okay.
got a couple offices to go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you
So-
can write it on the back. Actually, can you just give me
I'll just give you a business card.
yeah, if you give me your business card.
Before
back.
we head out, I'll give you a business card.
Okay.
So what services do you guys provide here?
So you're not familiar with the Equal Rights Commission?
I've never been in here before, I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well.
Yeah.
How about if I give you one of the brochures? This kind of gives you an idea of what our services are, so I'm going to hold it up. You see it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Equal Rights Commission has its authority under Title V from the Assembly, so that gives us our jurisdiction to investigate claims regarding anything that's discrimination and also sexual harassment, which is
Like in the workplace or?
it can be
Period.
it can be in any well it's in certain areas, so it has to have occurred in the areas of employment, housing, public accommodation,
Okay.
practices of the municipality, educational institution, and financial institutions. So we only handle discrimination or complaints if it's in this area here. So like, for instance, we're not going to get involved in neighbor disputes
Yeah.
between two individuals.
Yeah, it's civil, yeah.
Yeah. And it is civil, it's not
Mhm.
criminal. What we're doing is not criminal. And then it's regarding these areas. So it has to be on the basis of these protected classes.
Is civil rights on there?
Well, that is civil rights.
Okay.
So it's not civil rights, it's not a protected class.
Yeah.
So a protected class would be sex,
Yeah.
religion.
So basically you guys help protect the citizens' civil rights, is what you guys
Correct.
do?
Yes.
Okay. That's phenomenal.
In the workplace.
So this is what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
so the way it works, if an individual feels that they have been discriminated, let's
Mhm.
just use the employment
Yeah,
example that you gave me. I am working and I feel like I'm being discriminated because of my sex.
yeah,
Then I can contact this agency and inquire about it, talk to someone about why I feel I've been discriminated. And if the jurisdiction basis have occurred, which means it has to pass, for instance, we can't take claims that are 5 years old. If it happened within the last 6 months, basically, 180 days. And then if it also has to happen within the municipality of Anchorage. So we're not going to take a claim that happened in Fairbanks or
Valley
outside of
or-
Alaska
yeah,
even.
Okay.
So our jurisdiction only gives us the permission within the jurisdiction, right?
Okay.
With the municipality of
Yeah.
Anchorage. So if it falls outside of our, the municipality of Anchorage, then we can refer them to other agencies like the EEOC, if it's employment related, or even, we call it ASHER, which is the Alaska State Commission for Human Rights. They can also go there.
I heard about
They
them.
handle the whole entire state.
Okay.
where we're really segmented
Yeah.
just within the municipality of Anchorage.
So what if there was like police misconduct? Like,
Police misconduct, you would probably go to the ombudsman's office and talk to them. Yeah, yeah.
What is what is that? What do they specialize in?
Well,
that
that's your
office?
next interview.
Yeah, I guess
Right?
we'll have to get over
So
there.
you would go to them and talk to them about what they specialize, and I'm not the
I
spokesperson for
know
them.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's certain things that they can have, that they would be able to handle, and then they refer, people to us if it's something that we would handle.
Yeah,
So basically, it just has to meet our criteria for jurisdiction, happened within the last 6
Timeframe,
months.
yeah,
It
yeah.
occurred within the municipality of Anchorage.
Yeah.
It's under one of the protected classes, and then that it's also within the area that I showed you on here.
Municipality of
The
Anchorage.
employment, yeah,
Is
those.
there a website
Yeah,
on
it's
that?
right. Yeah, it's on there.
Is it? Okay,
muni.org/AERC.
Okay,
It's
I'm
right
gonna get that
there.
to my viewers, cause that
Yeah.
might be helpful.
Yeah. Is it okay if I take one of those too?
Yeah, go ahead. And then I'll give you, hold on a second. So, Title V is, here's the handout we give to anybody that that does an intake with us and then files a complaint. When they sign the complaint, we give them a copy of Title V. And that outlines, this is the current,
Equal rights.
yeah, and it kind of goes over the whole process of
Okay.
how the agency works.
What's the date on that? 21. Okay, so it's not new, but it is.
They do updates every now and then, so,
Oh yeah, it is 21. Okay.
yeah. And so if you read through that, you'll get a better understanding of the parameters which we operate and how we can help people.
So basically, if the employee is having a terrible time at work and stuff is going on, usually they can't go to their company and talk about it because they get fired. So they come to you guys for help, and I see that as a really good service.
Yes and no. First of all, if
But it
the
has to be one of
person-
those categories of
Yeah.
discrimination.
Correct. So, what the example you just gave, I should probably clarify a little bit. It is against the law to retaliate because someone filed a claim, whether the claim is true or not.
Oh, okay.
So if someone, filed a complaint of discrimination and the respondent served, and then that person was terminated, that would be a second case of
So that
retaliation.
they're terminated because of the complaint.
Yeah, retaliated
Yeah.
because you went and complained against my company.
Or your
For
boss
doing-
or
or your
something.
boss, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that becomes another
And
complaint.
do you guys get involved with legal, like legal help, like helping with lawyers or court, stuff like that? Or you guys just help guide them to what they need?
They can only have one action at a time, so if they were to open a complaint with us and file a complaint with us, they would not be able to go to EEOC and file another
Yeah.
one. They would not be able to go to Asher and file another one. It has
And
to
a
be
complaint, are
one.
you talking about like a lawsuit complaint or just a complaint in general? 'Cause I know there's two types of complaints. There's one that would be like a complaint for like 1983, a civil rights violation complaint, or like an actual complaint. You're
Well,
complaining on.
this
an
is not a
employee.
complaint filed in court, so to speak.
Okay, that's what I
Okay,
was
so it's a
wondering.
complaint with our agency.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
However, it can end up in Superior Court, so our
Okay.
decisions can be appealed to the Superior Court.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
And then it's lodged, it is public, and
Yeah,
so right now, at this point, when someone is filing, they're doing an intake with us,
yeah,
they're talking to us, they're trying to find out, what do I do?
yeah,
We see if they meet all of those requirements for jurisdiction,
okay,
and if there appears to be a level of discrimination. And then we would draft the complaint, and that person, we call them the complainant, would come in and sign the complaint, and then we give copies and we serve it upon the respondent, whoever that party is.
okay,
Okay, so it could be an education institution, it could be a bank, one of those areas that we're
Yeah.
talking about.
yeah,
The biggest one is probably employment. We see
Yeah.
that one the most.
do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that and public accommodation. For
Okay.
instance, someone has a disability, they have a service dog, they go into a restaurant,
I've
and
seen
the
that, yeah.
manager says, "Get out! You can't have your dog in here."
Yeah,
And then they tell them that this is a service animal, and they
And they
still
still-
require them to
yeah.
leave, then they could come in, which we have quite
Yeah.
often, and then that would start the whole process
Okay.
starting.
So I have a question. With all that being said, how many complaints do you guys deal with, let's say in a year, roughly? 500, 100, 12,000, just roughly?
Hundreds.
Okay, hundreds. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so then you guys are busy then. You guys are staying pretty busy.
Yeah, well, we have our times when we're slow down, usually around the holidays, Christmas
Yeah.
and New Year's. People tend to not be looking at doing things with the problem they're having, and then
Yeah.
it ramps back up usually in January. But yeah, it's cyclical. It goes up
Okay.
and down.
That's a lot of people. A lot of
Yeah.
complaints. That's good.
It's
Thank
not
you.
good, but
Yeah,
you know.
thank
Yeah,
you.
well, it's good that you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good that
yeah,
you're here.
So
Yeah.
the whole point is this. Let's just say I am disabled. I am. I have hearing aids.
Yeah.
And I have a service dog, which is a hearing dog.
Mhm.
And I go into a restaurant and they won't let me in with my service animal. I let them know that this is a service animal, not a pet. And they still insist that I leave. For me to get anywhere, if I wanted to get a private attorney, I'd have to come with a retainer.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Very.
So most of people in the public, they don't have the money, they don't have the time, they don't know how to navigate it. And so what would they do? They would just go away,
Yeah.
right? So what this takes the place of is it gives a person, an individual, a way to come in and get some information, and then we can handle their case, and then they're not having to hire an attorney. And we don't represent them, we're
You're
neutral.
You're
Yeah.
assisting them
Yeah, we're assisting, but we're investigating the complaint.
at the same time.
Right, so we're not, I always tell them, we're not representing you, we also don't represent the respondent, the restaurant. We're, impartial. And so that's what starts, when we file that complaint, then we ask for documents and information, and then we have a fact-finding conference. And that's what the back of this brochure really explains, is how you're funneled through on the whole process. So you would have the fact-finding, within 30 days, we do a fact-finding conference, and it's with the parties involved. And sometimes at the end of that, we try to see if there's a chance for a settlement or an agreement where we can resolve it.
What would we be talking about?
In the service dog example, it could be, this person wants to go back and be able to be a patron to your business and
Yeah.
go in with their service dog. And then they will say, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Another one might be, the complainant wants them to have education on what the ADA is. And then we would help with that. They can get education from us on what is allowed, what's not allowed, and they can do it from a third party. So that's just one example. There's so many factors, it's hard to give you
Yeah.
a breakdown of
Yeah.
like all the possible outcomes of a settlement. But we do try to give, that at that point, at that stage in the game, we try to give them an idea of how they could settle. But again, we're not facilitating that, and we're not encouraging or pushing it either way. We let them discuss. And then sometimes they have to run it by someone else who has the decision-making authority, whether it's an attorney or HR or something, depending on who it is, right? So if we can get a settlement, then that usually resolves it. But if it doesn't get resolved with a settlement, then we go into the investigative phase. And that's where we start talking to witnesses and looking at documents and whatever there is, so that we can see if there's substantial evidence that there was discrimination or no substantial evidence of discrimination. And you can kind of see how it splits off. So if there's substantial evidence, this is the criteria that we would go, and if it's non-substantial.
Okay.
Does
Thank you.
that make sense?
You're
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Lynette Hartley.
Lynette. I'm
Lynette.
Brandon.
Brandon, nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll stop by after when we're done and I'll give you a business card.
Yeah, you've got
Appreciate
mine,
it.
so
Yeah, I appreciate it.
if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me.
Okay. We're
It
just trying to
has,
educate the public, what services are in this building, what they can find in this building, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're also testing you guys to make sure that you guys are being transparent, being accountable, and treating us with respect.
thank you,
Yeah.
because that is huge.
It's
That
Oh, yeah.
is-
It's
yeah.
literally what we do, literally.
That's great,
So,
that's
I
great.
go around the state, and I've been this for a long time. I go around the state and I check on government employees. I check on making sure you guys are following your job, you know, what you're supposed to do, making sure that you're not treating the public like crap. I actually get a lot of emails, and I bounce around the state because I get emails from Kenai, I get emails from Fairbanks, and I go and check certain municipalities, city halls, you know, stuff like that, so
Okay.
that's what I do. I kinda do what you do, but I do it on
Your
the-
scope is a little
Yeah.
broader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I also do press stuff too. I cover, like those, I don't know if you heard about the two Alaska State Troopers that beat up a guy up in Saldana, and they gave him like 300 stitches.
When was this?
This was last year, the summer of last year. And they're actually going to court right now. The two troopers been put on leave.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. I moved here a year and a half ago.
But that's the
so-
kind of stuff that I deal with, corruption
Okay.
and
Yeah.
misconduct and, you know, stuff like that.
Good for you. It's good that there's somebody, you're like the watchdog.
Pretty, well, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.